Hey, beautiful. Welcome to the Magic with Mary podcast. I'm your host, Mary. If you're a sucker for all things personal development, mindset, and growth, you're in the right place because here we teach you how to live your most authentic life, how to gain confidence, and how to step into your power. If you're ready to let go of the things that are holding you back, stay tuned and let the magic begin. Okay, I'm sitting here with pimple patches all over my face, and now I'm curious if you're imagining that, if you can take me seriously throughout the rest of this podcast. Let's see if that's possible. Hello, beautiful. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening. It has been quite a while. I say that like every time I podcast, because really like in between each podcast, there's like this extended period of time, right? So today I want to quickly give you a little bit of a life update on why I've stopped podcasting and why I really want to continue. So there's such mixed emotions within me on why I should stop and also a lot of mixed emotions on why I need to continue. So that's kind of my goal today, give you a little bit of that, and then hopefully you'll be tuning into the next podcast where I can share some fun, amazing advice. Amazing. I heard the other day that you shouldn't use the word amazing. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, how often do I say amazing? And literally that entire day, I caught myself saying it at least 10 times. So if any of you guys have another word for amazing, please share it with me. But if not, for right now, I'm just going to keep using it. Anyways, so the real reason, the true reason why, because really, there's like a million reasons why I've stopped podcasting, right? Like not enough time, I'm busy, yada, yada, yada. I could give you all of those excuses, but really like on the deepest level, like digging through all the excuses and why I'm not doing it as much anymore is because I didn't think it was appropriate to give advice about mindset, happiness, manifestation, all of those things when I myself was struggling just to be a positive, happy person. I recognized that everything I wanted before and all the things I was sharing with, you in this podcast, I didn't really want anymore. In fact, I wasn't even sure if I wanted to have my own business. I wasn't sure, who I was. And I felt so lost because all of these hopes, dreams, and things that I was like taking into this podcast and sharing with you and telling you all about, they were no longer me. Like they no longer felt like who I was. And so here I am, lost, depressed, wanting so badly to just wallow in my own pain. And I'm like, I cannot get on Instagram. I cannot get on my podcast and share how to be a happy, outgoing, fun, positive mindset person if I can't even do that myself. If I can't even do that myself, why should I be doing it for others? Like, why would I give people advice when I can't even take my own advice? So here I am, feeling stuck, right? But what I have learned, what I've learned through all of this, and hopefully this is something maybe you can take with you from this podcast, is that you can't really keep reaching for the top if you're stuck in your sadness, if you're stuck in depression, if you're stuck in whatever it is that you're stuck in, right? And if you don't even know what you want, how can you continue forward? You have to have a clear direction. I talk about that probably in the first few of these podcasts when you're working towards your goals or, whatever thing that you're manifesting, you have to have a clear path, because if you can't visualize that thing, how do you know how to get there, right? How do you know what your next step is going to be? How do you know anything? How do you know if that's even what you want, right? So again, what I've learned through this is that you can't keep reaching for the top if you're stuck. I came to this point where I realized that I needed to take a break or to end what I was doing until I could figure out who I was and what what my purpose was. I mean, I've always known that I have a purpose to take care of my family and do all of that, but like outside of that, what was my purpose? What was I reaching for? What was my goal? So I needed to figure out what the hell was wrong with me. And that's where I am right now, as I've decided that, I'm going to take time for me, because I've never done that before. I've never stopped and just decided that I'm going to take a year or two for me and figure out, what I need. So right now I'm taking my time to figure it out. I'm processing old trauma. I'm processing all this new information and trying to decide what it is that I want, and just focus on me. And I don't think that's a bad thing at all. If that's something that you need so that you can figure out where you're going and what your goals are, take that time. It sucks and it's hard, especially if you're someone like me who's a goer and wants to go, 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 go. And that's kind of what I've done throughout this last couple years, is I've just go, 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 and kept myself busy, because I just on anything and everything, just because that's how my mind works. But it made sense to me that I needed to slow down and stop just going after things that didn't make sense to me. Like, I needed to figure out what it was that was keeping me stuck in sadness. So if you have been feeling like you need to just take time for you, I highly encourage you to do that, because I've actually learned a lot about myself and I've processed so much, and I'm definitely feeling better. And that's great. It's great to feel that way. But there's still work to do. There's always still work to do. And so that's another thing that I've learned through this, is like, don't ever think for a second that you're done, right? If life really is about the journey, right? And not just the end. Because if the end is the end, then what's the point? If life is really about the journey, don't ever think for a second that you're done doing the work that you're doing. I asked myself a while ago, how can I be a more patient and calm mom? A few weeks later, all of a sudden, all this old trauma comes up, right? And I'm freaking out, and I call my therapist, and we're walking through all of these things, and I start to realize, like, I'm asking to be a more calm, patient mom, and I'm being guided to work through this trauma that I've learned now, not in the moment. In the moment, I had no idea. That I learned that trauma was keeping me from being the patient, calm mom that I wanted to be. So never think for a second that you've got it figured out. Never do, because there's more work to be done, always. So another thing that I'm truly 100% convinced of is that I do believe that podcasting is good for me. So even though, like, because I can get on here and I can share all these positive, wonderful things, and someone might listen and think, oh my gosh, she's such a happy person. But like, not always. Yes, for the most part, like, I naturally have this happiness, but I don't wake up happy. A lot of people don't realize that, like, I do a lot of things to get myself to that point, right? Like, I wake up, I meditate, I journal. A lot of times my journaling is just bitching and complaining about things and people that are driving me up the wall. I get that emotion out, and then I figure out how to reframe that, and I do all of these mindset activities that get me to where I need to be so that I can be more happy, But one thing I've learned through all of that, is like, it's okay to be a sad person sometimes. It's okay, and I think I need to podcast because I'm a person of integrity, or at least I try to be. And because I feel so disconnected when I'm not being true to myself, it's great to give other people advice on how to be happier, because that makes me want to be more of that person, right? If I share with you advice that I'm struggling to take myself, yet me just sharing that advice is giving me a reason to be more of that person that I really truly want to be, then why not get on here, share something positive with you, give you something to work towards, and also me something to work towards. Why not, right? So as selfish as it may sound, I'm going to keep podcasting because it creates a spark for me. It helps me be more of the happy person that I truly want to be. So I can sit here and say, yes, I'm struggling to be happy. How can I give advice to someone and then not even want to take that advice? But I have to, because if I do that, I'm sharing positivity and it gives me a reason to try. And honestly, like, as long as I'm trying, that's more than enough for me. So anyways, that's all I have for you today. I love you all, and I will share some more here in the upcoming podcast. So stay tuned. I love you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please go rate it, follow, all of the things. I love you tons. Have a great day. Mwah.